I don't know if you know the DeepSeek story. That's a little entrepreneur.
Could you tell it? Yeah, for our
Sure. DeepSeek has come up with a better way of moving the artificial intelligence revolution forward. And it exploded into the public awareness in the middle of January, the second half of January of this year, 2025. And the breakthrough came in a small company owned and started by an entrepreneur who's the CEO of the little company called DeepSeek, with the S capitalized. So it's the word deep and then capital Seek. And he explains that he hired new graduates of some of the new technical universities in China. He doesn't say, but clearly the message is they're fresh, they're new, and they're cheap. Because one of the things that he came up with was a competitor product. Basically, think of it as a search engine for how to go through vast amounts of data super quick to come up with what AI can do, which is a paragraph or a paper or an analysis. It's crude, but it does a lot of the preliminary research that anybody has to do in any field. It's being used now, for example, to do diagnosis. You feed into this machine the 27 characteristics of a patient who comes with a pain or something, and you get better diagnoses because basically you can mine the history of those symptoms and see when they all occur together what the three most likely diseases, and that just saves an enormous amount. It's very helpful, and they have comparable applications in many other fields. I use it myself. I've begun to use it recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can have an idea of a relationship in economics between, I don't know, an interest rate and exports. And you say, what is the relationship between it? And the machine gives you an answer. Now, there are holes in it, there are mistakes in it, but it gives you a very nice place to start. Then you fix the holes and you correct the errors. It's as if you had a very good graduate student and said, go get me everything on this, which is what, I mean, I've been in that position. I told the graduate, go get me this. Right? And you very quickly discover who's the better graduate student, who isn't, because one of them comes back in 2 days with a wonderful, and the other one comes back in 2 days and says, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's a small company, and for a tiny fraction, I believe $5 or $6 million, they have done something that is the equivalent of what costs billions in Silicon Valley. And, the stock market, the biggest company in the United States in the stock market recently was a company called NVIDIA. You may have heard of it. It lost $600 billion. Let me do it again. $600 billion of value.
Oh, gosh.
In one day.
Wow.
When this was publicized, it turned out the publicity was that over the last weekend, it really was this last weekend, more people downloaded that program, which, by the way, is available for free from this little company, than anything else on the whole Apple system. Apple app, they bought it from the App Store, So everyone in America, I now know 20 people that are using it. That's how fast all these things go. They're not using the ones from California. They're using that one. Because for them, I mean, California is still producing these things, and there will be company. It's not over. The one in China has flaws also. It's not that. It's just another sign, if you needed it, where the competition is coming. And since that's the remaining dynamic industry of the United States, to see it there, wow. Before, and I will be using that example now to make my argument, before, and I believe the last time you and I spoke, the example was electric vehicles. That was where the Chinese, but that's an old industry, the automobile industry. AI is the newest of the new explosive industries, and the Chinese are right there, neck and neck, doing it. I mean, it's just. And then when you hear he's taking advantage of all the universities opening up, I think the American economy is in terrible difficulty, and that the crisis of our time, which includes Mr. Trump, is that the response is denial, self-delusional denial, which is not surprising. I have a certain compassion for it. It's hard to be alive at a time when your empire is dying. It's hard if your economic system is full of problems. It really is.